Welcome back to another TCG talk with Carib Boy, and we have the usual suspects, the fellas. We have the specialists, Butcher and TrainerTT with we again. And today we want to discuss the latest local tournament results and experience of the local Pokemon TCG scene. All right, welcome fellas. How are it going? Let me just check in real quick. How we doing? How we doing today?
I good. Just looking forward to starting back playing Ptcgo. Now make up my account. Now getting some cash shot to play. Oh, and start back there. I good for the time being.
Nice one. Specialist?
I'm good to school starting back tomorrow, so you know there's a kind of grind
pressure.
But
and traffic.
Yeah, traffic too. Yeah, but and that just highly flavored.
Nice man. Check in there, TrainerTT. How you doing?
Yeah, we good. We just waiting for the loss origin. It's just a countdown now.
Yeah, man. All right. So we wanna just start off the discussion today talking about the local OTS that we have in Trinidad and Tobago. Both of them on the Trinidad island of the Twin Island. And OTS stands for Official Tournament Store. So we are very fortunate in our small island state to have two located here. As far as we know, it is the only OTS in the Caribbean. We have to investigate that further to really find out if that is true. Maybe the OTS owners could confirm that because they might have an idea of the community and that. So OTS, this is where you could use your trainer club, your trainer ID, your Pokemon trainer ID. This is where you really exist as a Pokemon trainer in the Pokemon TCG to participate in official tournaments and gather points to reach what we was discussing in our previous episode, the World Championship. So you just gain World Championship points. You could go online and check your standing in the world. It really that serious. So we have two, and I'll let the fellas here tell the listening community where these OTS are located and how you could reach there and a little bit about them. So fellas, take it away.
All right. Well, MVE located in Shogunas, and then Gamers Trove is in San Fernando, right?
To be more specific, MVs in Mid Center Mall. You're going upstairs from the car park behind, while Gamer Trove. I help me out again, Lalan, with the name with the mall with Gamer Trove.
Carlton Center on High Street, San Fernando.
Carlton Center.
All right, Carlton Center on High Street. Again, that store is also upstairs, so you gotta go upstairs. If you're passing from High Street side, you go up the stairs right there, and it's the first one on your right, I believe.
So tell us a little bit, fellas, about briefly the tournament vibes at each of these stores that you have participated in. I think if not everybody, at least somebody here has participated at both stores.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Nah, you good.
I was just gonna say I would have participated in tournaments in both stores. With MVA, we are getting higher numbers right now, and we're trying to get people to come out more in San Fernando who wants to take part in the game to play and enjoy, so we can try to grow the community together.
Nice.
I also participated in both stores. Oh, but what I noticed is that most players reside in north or central area and find to go south and Gamers Trove a little too far. So the numbers in the south and Gamers Trove is a little less than the numbers in MV and Shogunas.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And but it doesn't mean that players don't exist down in the south. So this podcast, the WhatsApp groups, bring awareness to the game. All that is in effort to increase the player base, especially in the areas that that are not as popular as other areas. All right. Just for some information, for the drivers, Mid Center Mall has its large car park, and Carlton Center also has a car park that you can enter from the street in the back. I believe it's in Vincent Street.
I don't know. I really don't know.
I'll correct it in the comments if it's not, but I believe it's in Vincent Street. That's the GTA car park that everybody's lovingly call it. And you have a special privilege. I learned from the specialist that it's a paying car park at the GTA car park. But if you are visiting the Trove Fan event, the Gamers Trove Fan event, you can have the store stamp your ticket, which will provide you with free parking for any tournament you're visiting at the Gamers Trove. Correctly, right, specialist?
Yeah.
Nice. Right. So
even if it's not an event, once you go into the Trove to purchase items or collect items or whatever, then just ask them to stamp it for you, and they'll stamp it.
Right, but well, good information there. Real good information there for any player or collector. You don't have to be going to play. It could just be a visit to buy a product, and you will benefit from, you could call it a membership of the Gamers Trove, right? Nice. So what we have going on right now is the OTS, both OTS working together with the community to try to host regular tournaments. So far, I think upcoming this might change, but so far, MV tournaments tend to take place on Saturdays, whilst the Gamers Trove tournaments tend to take place on the Sundays. So they don't ever clash, and we coordinate it with the OTS together. And it's the dates are at a manageable space between them. But tell us, fellas, of the upcoming changes, because I believe some regionals and Yu-Gi-Oh! And thing going to happen. Just share a bit on that for the listeners there.
So for the next 2 weekends, it's Pokemon tournaments. It's going to have one at Gamers Troves on this coming Sunday, and then the following week, MV is going to be hosting one as well, because of the fact that there's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament at Gamers Troves. So he's allowing us to have a tournament there on the Sunday as well. So that would be, pull up my calendar.
The 11th.
So we have a tournament on the 11th and the 8th.
Nice. So we have 2 upcoming tournaments, both Sundays, correct?
Yeah,
nice. On the 11th and 18th. For those who are
the 11th at MVE and the 18th at Gamers Trove.
Nice. And we want to reiterate a point here. For anybody
I had backwards. The 11th at Gamers Trove and the 18th at MVE. Sorry.
Right. Nice. So we want to reiterate a point here that we made on the previous episode. If you are interested in the game and you might not have any cards, but you want to take a touch, as we will say locally, and try your hand, learn the game, just show up. Just show up at any one of these stores, 11th at the Gamers Trove and 18th at MV Collectibles, and you will receive a deck on loan to try your hand. And talking about deck on loan, I will use that as a segue to go into the next talking point here. We recently had the last tournament we had that all 3 of you participated in. I was unable to be there. I just passed through. Oh, right. So we have 2 participants of the last tournament here. Specialists would have passed through, just like myself, to spectate or just say hi. Was at MVE Collectibles, and I want to hear from TrainerTT and Butcher about the experience at the tournament. Tell us about the meta, the results, and any comments on the experience. And don't forget to talk about the loan.
About the
deck loan, the deck loan. That is important.
So tournament was good. Mew won the entire thing. Lucian came second. TrainerTT came second with the Missy, I believe.
Yep.
But a man came, borrowed a Mew deck, and he won the tournament with it. So it was an interesting tournament, to say the least. He borrowed it. I think he might have asked for like some tips on the using of it, but he parted the deck good and he take it to victory.
Tell us a bit about the meta of the tournament, like the different types of decks that you would have played.
So I would have played Mad Party, which is my favorite deck. Always playing that, or some baby deck. Most of the decks would have been a Palkia. Most decks were Palkia-less. And then it would have Lucian or Darius, who would have borrowed the Mew, and Lucian would have been playing the Blissey.
And then I think it had
There's one person who was playing Dark
Sama.
Rider.
Yeah,
Like that.
it was it was a dark, right? There was a Arceus Duraludon. There was I think a Whimsicott. I think there was one Whimsicott.
Right, Ryan was playing Whimsicott.
Yeah. And then my first opponent was just a straight Ice Rider. Just Ice Rider Italian. Yeah.
I think I would have seen Blissey, Mew, Ice Rider, 2 Palkia, Ice Rider Palkia, Mad Party Darkrai, Arceus Duraludon, and Whimsicott. Yeah. If all I can remember, what was like the top 4? What the top 4 was like?
That would have been Mew, Blissey, Mad Party, and I can't remember. You remember who else was in the top 4?
Right.
Yeah, Amar had
It was either
7 points.
Darkrai or Palkia.
Yeah, one of the two.
It was either Darkrai or Palkia.
Yeah.
It would have either been Amar or.
Oh no, I think it would have been Amar because I took an ID with Amar with the Darkrai. So he would have had 2, 1, 2. No, he would have had 2.
He would have been the lowest.
Yeah, been 2-1, I think.
No, there wasn't 5, there was 4 rounds. No, he was on 2-1-1. Never mind. He was on 7 points.
2-1-1.
Yeah, so he was on 7 points and he drew.
Yeah.
It would have been the 2 persons with 3, you and Darius. So it would have been, I believe it would have been a Palkia, Mad Party, Mew, and the Blissey.
Yeah, so 4 different decks.
Nice. All you think, I mean, the number is small. It's a 11-person tournament with a drop. So essentially 10. Did you all witness if the Mew VMAX face off with a Palkia and won?
Yeah, it did. Mew won against Palkia. Mew has a pretty favorable matchup against Palkia.
Okay.
It could go.
All right, nice. So is it enough? Is 10 players enough to talk about a meta here, or we really still need to build it? What is all your opinion on that?
We still need to build it because the more people that come out, the more the meta will evolve and shape. Like, I love Mad Party. I really like it, but that deck is not good.
Yeah, I think we at a stage where we still have the luxury of playing the fool a little bit, testing out some rogues, some random stuff, and we might have the surprises. Or not like our worlds or our regionals where you have 50 to 100 Palkias. That would be a different story. That would be a whole different story, and we would have to adjust our deck choices to that. For sure, for sure, for sure. So this wasn't in the lead up, but I recall the OTS owners mentioning numbers of 16 and 8 being workable numbers to help push the game. Well, we are 10. I think at the MVE we reached in the consecutive tournaments we've had.
It was 12 with one drop this weekend, I believe.
12 with a drop. I think it was 11 with a drop.
What was 11?
It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh no, it would be 12 with a drop.
12 with a drop. Okay, cool. Cool. So we looking like 12. I remember we was fighting off for 8 and 9. And 10 was a big number. I recall though the first ever tournament, it hit at 23. So you know there are players to come out. So we go continue pushing it. Trying to segue now into a little more wider scope. TrainerTT and Specialists recently competed in some limitless tournaments, and both did very well with some much larger numbers, the kind of numbers we dream of here. In one case at least, I think Specialist, yours was smaller.
Yeah, mine was 52 people, I believe.
Right.
I'll check that now.
And TrainerTT, yours were 100. Yours was 100.
96. Well, with the drops, 96.
Right.
So yeah,
right.
around 100 with all the
Nice.
drops.
Yeah. So these online examples are pretty much the things we dream of locally. Please, we have a second place finish and a top 4 finish with us here, and it was pretty special to see the Trinidad flag in top 4 and higher in these larger international tournaments. And well, before we continue, I want to congratulate you guys again, and please tell us about those 2 finishes. I would ask TrainerTT to go first, telling us about his.
All right, so I played Arceus Pikachu with the City IV. Oh wait, no, without the City IV. I think it was the Vision Azul run. So no the City UI, and you played Phoebe with the Crobat VMAX. And basically I played Ice Rider Palkia. I played Arceus Duraludon. Most of my matches were against Palkia, which I won obviously because I had the Flying Pikachu. And then I think I finished off with 6-2-1, and the 2 losses are actually against Mewtwo, V-Union, and Control. So it was pretty. I got demolished by the Mewtwo. That's all I have to say.
Are we hear from the Specialist?
Oh, well, I came second in mines. I played a Mad Party. I played some Palkia Arceus, which I dominated because I forgot to mention that I also played Arceus Flying Pikachu, but mines had a 1-1 history on the CDY. Excuse. And I also played a 2-2 line in the EV Jolteon for the Drizzle matchups. I also played against the Radiant Charizard. I played that in Swiss and in top 8. And in finals, I played a Mew V Max that I lost to.
V Max or V Star or V Union? Oh, Mew, not Mewtwo. Mew.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And which one of you went up and won against the world's top 9 Calvin Connor?
That would have been me. I played him in top 4. Top 4 and Swiss. He's the one who played the Radiant Charizard.
Right. So I hope the listeners paying attention that we have world-class players right here in the community that we're trying to build, who would face up against a top 10 world standard player and win. You understand? So that is what we're working with. So again, congrats fellas. And I know we just get the notifications from TrainerTT. All the fella jump in this one, jump in that one, jump in this one. When is the next online one for you guys? What are they looking up to? Or let's just kind of go and decide on a whim, kind of like what is on like your shopping for tournaments, or let's like plan in advance.
There's 2 tournaments I try to enter weekly, and I'll exaggerate on the word try. They are on Mondays. One is from us. Both of them is from streamers actually. One is from Sunny, and one is from Amy. I believe Amy own is from 2 p.m. our timing on Mondays, while Sunny one is on 6 p.m. Other than that, those 2, I just enter tournaments whenever I'm free. Just go on Limitless and see if I could enter a tournament and enter, which was the same one where I came second with what happened.
And what about you, TrainerTT?
I
feel like you have a more structured approach to it. Same thing?
Okay, well, yeah, in terms of the approach, I would, so every day, sometimes at the end of the day, sometimes in the middle of the day, sometimes at the beginning of the day, I would go on Limitless, and then I would check all the tournaments in the next 7 days, and then I would check the pricing for each tournament, and then the timing. So it's the pricing, then the timing, and then it's the availability of what I could join and what I can't. And then one thing I would do, and I would recommend everybody, is just to sign up. Like, just sign up, because most of them, well, some of them actually have a cap of either 64 players or whatever it may be. So you'd always want the opportunity, just the chance and the opportunity just to play in it. So to name a few, as Shaq mentioned, Sunny's Weekly. I actually played in Sunny's Weekly 4 weeks straight, and I finished with a record, I think, of 5-1, because he only does Swiss rounds, he doesn't do top cut. And I finished like 5-1 or like 4-2, like 4 weeks in a row. And like each loss was to me doing something non-Pokemon. So yeah, that's the challenge with doing online tournaments. It's kind of
and do they generally go, I mean, tell me a bit, even the ones that start 2 p.m., I think that's the earliest time I heard, compared to the one that starts 6, when do these things finish?
Generally with Swiss, I think it finishes, if it has like six Swiss rounds, I think it finishes what, 2.5 hours to 3 hours, around that. Around that.
Because Amy Owen finished relatively early before Sunny Owen starts, because both of them know each other, and Sunny watches Amy stream, right? So Amy Owen does finish like probably like an hour and a half, if so much, before Sunny tournaments begin.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. So I think we covered a lot of information there for anybody who might be interested in checking out the game. But I think something that might be important is to tell folks, because we've hailed the Ptcgo as a real good training grounds, and as we discussing here, it could provide a competitive platform as well. How do people get started on Ptcgo? That is the question.
Just kind of create an account. They will give you like a few team decks, because I recently started over. They'll give you the team decks, pay to play. You can use that template to start your account. Most of the guys in the community may have, like the guys in the community long enough, will have like extra cards that they may be able to trade you. Like I get most of my Mad Party deck from Shaq, because I restarted, because I try and migrate to Ptcgo, or Ptcg Live, sorry. So most of the guys would have cards that they wouldn't mind sharing with people to build a deck on Ptcgo. Also, if you buy product, you get a code card every time you open up a it has a code card in it. Every time you open a, you input that code card and you get either packs or you get a deck box or you get a card to open in the game itself. So you can build. So while you're building your real life collection, you could also build an online collection and start from that way. So that is how I like on my original account. That's how I kind of start. I was buying packs and opening them, putting them in Ptcgo, and playing.
Nice. And where does one create this account? Or correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody could go to Pokemon.com and you need to create a trainer ID, or there's an alternative way to start on Ptcgo.
Yeah.
I think you need to.
Go ahead, Sean.
Now you go ahead.
Yeah, you could just go to Pokemon.com, I think it is. On their website, they will have a kind of symbol with a person grayed out. You click on that and you can create a trainers club from there.
Trainers Club. That is the name I was trying to remember. Trainers Club.
Anybody who has like the 3DS or they play a Pokemon game that was connected to the internet, most likely have an account already. You could just use that same account to open your Ptcgo account.
Right. And the client, the Ptcgo client, works on PC, tablet, and not all phones, correct? Because I just have to do an APK to play on my phone.
I can't even play on my phone.
I don't think any phone, right?
It's not meant for phones, but you
Yeah.
could bypass by downloading an APK.
From iPhone, the Apple X and recent plays it online. You can
Serious.
get down.
I have the X on. I can't get it. I don't know.
I have the 8 Plus and I can't get it. But
I have a Note 9 and I get it on APK. A friend he downloaded it. He downloaded it from Samsung Play Store, which was interesting, and he was able to download it like properly, not through an APK or anything. The Samsung Play Store, Galaxy Store or something like that. I believe I'll ask him again and confirm for us. But yeah, so a new player could get a hold of the client on PC, tablet, Android. Anybody know if iPad, anybody with an iPad that uses it?
I actually,
my iPad
I actually got an iPad just for Ptcgo.
Right. Okay.
Because I'm fed up of having to sit down on my laptop and play. So I think most recent iPads for sure work. I have the Air. I can't remember which gen, but the iPad Air works, and the Pro as well. So those are the two that I know that works.
Nice.
Yeah, I have the 2019 Pro in the iPad, and it works.
Nice, lovely.
Like the
All good stuff.
difference is so like I have a MacBook, and the MacBook is a different kind of way to download it. You're not getting it on the place on App Store for like today or whatever update. I can't go on the App Store and update it. I had to go in Pokemon, the official Pokemon page, and update it from there from on the MacBook.
Very interesting. Well, hopefully when they fix up the live and they revamp it, hopefully with all the community advice, we will just get it on mobile and it will be vibes. Hopefully I hear real terrible things about that. But anyway, I think there's a nice place to wrap up the conversation here.
I have two tips for people who wants to play online.
Yes, get them.
A very cheap, I'll use the word cheap way to start off online is to find like a big streamer, right? Not somebody who streams professionally, but somebody who streams for fun. And while following them, you'll get points. They just have them streamers just have like their little money thing in
Yeah.
the chat, right? So every minute or so, you just automatically get 10 points, and every like 5-6 minutes, you can click the green button and get 50, right? And with those points now, you could buy codes. So like the same Amy person who was host our tournament on Mondays, you could buy codes with her points, right? So like I think it's like 2,000 points for Acrobat VMAX box.
Dude, I never
1,000
know that.
points a pack.
I
Yeah,
never
like
know that.
yeah,
Yeah,
they have
you,
certain streamers on Twitch, right? Yes, get points. They little points thing. I don't know how to describe that, but
yeah.
the more you watch it and
It's like
stuff, the
watch
more points
time.
you just
It's
get
like watch time.
automatically. Yeah, it's like watch time. You just get points,
Yeah,
and then on
channel
top
point.
of and then on top of that, sometimes when they play in a game, they just have like a bet. So you know, if she go and play this person, she will pop. If she go in and win, and you'll bet how much points, and other people will bet, and if you win, you get the people who lost points and those kind of things, you know. Or she
And
might have, or she might be pulling packs and
yeah.
challenges. If she pull a gold Charizard or not, and you can bet rather yes or no, and you could win points that way too, right? And then
Yeah.
after that, you could buy the points with the channel points. You can buy packs, right? A more professional way now, because that's a cheap way, but a more professional way. You could follow a competitive player. They say like Azul, right? Azul will have sponsorship from I don't know, TCG player, and if you want, you can go and buy packs, well codes on TCG player and use Azul hashtag, which I believe is like Azul underscore GG, and you might get like 25% off on the codes. So like there's just like a cheap way and like a professional way to get codes
Right.
easier.
Right. That 25% is high because I know from Potong, you really just get a 5%.
I was just doing that, friend. I can't remember the
Oh,
exact
okay,
number.
okay. Yeah, I know a lot of them use Potong. They're affiliated with Potong, and I have purchased codes through Potong and use Frosted Caribou and others, Zapdos TCG code as well and get that 5% off. So yeah, there's some good stuff there for players who want to try the digital Ptcgo. And in closing, I want to engage earlier, just a little talk about upcoming sets. What is your thoughts on Lost Origin, whether it be digitally or in real life? I know specialists say he's sticking with Arceus, he's an Arceus boy. But and if anything just piques your interest, it doesn't mean you're going on really run down and build anything. As I shared something with you guys today, I saw they're talking about a Japanese tournament where Giratina was getting on a little bad, or this Lost Zone was getting on a little bad. So thoughts on Lost Zone to close.
The only deck I want to build from Lost Origin is this deck looking into. I think that very interests me. Other than that, nothing really. Giratina is probably gonna be real good, but we'll see. Because I ain't gonna. At least I don't want to bet yet. But yeah, Giratina should be good. The Zora deck looking decent. What other decks? Not sure what I was interested in. That's the only two decks I really was interested in. Other than that, that is it for me. I don't know about Muchin and Shakan.
From Shaq?
I, however, have no interest in any deck from Lost Origins. There's certain specific cards that I would like to add to my current Arceus deck. But to say like a specific deck, no. There's good cards, single cards that could probably add into any deck and make a deck good, make a deck have a better matchup of
Share
certain
one,
other
share one of
characters.
the good cards do you think from Lost
Oh,
Origin?
like Drapion V.
Ooh, all right, R.I.P. Mew. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Mew. Right? R.I.P. Rapid Strike Urshifu. Because with Drapion, well, Urshifu, like I said, Urshifu plays second. What they will do turn once playing second, subble into the 3 subbles, and probably a Urshifu in the back, or maybe a Remoraid in the back. Therefore, Drapion just need choice belt and boss, and bring up the Rapid Strike Urshifu. You don't even need that energy at that point, because for free, it is sitting for free. There's a choice belt and boss the Urshifu, and that's it.
You can't even get going. You can't even get going. And what about TrainerTT?
Well, for sure. Well, first of all, I would say fed up of this format. I want like new cards to play with. I want to be able to read new cards and don't know what they do. So I guess I'm just excited for Lost Origin on the whole. Specifically Giratina V. I definitely want to explore that with the Lost Zone engine. It looks cool. And then also the Tanky Boy Gudra V-Star. I also want to dabble in that a little bit. I see that it has some support, and I think it'll be fun to play. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a build with the Gudra with Arceus. That looked interesting to me. Because it's just a couple cards to get, because I have Arceus already, just to try something new. All right. So yeah, with that, I think we all shared our expectations of the Lost Origin coming up this Friday in real life. I'll just remind the community about when it goes live online.
I believe TrainerTT was saying it going live from tomorrow.
Thursday.
With code and
Thursday.
With codes.
Thursday?
With codes is
Yeah,
Thursday.
Yeah. 1 p.m. I believe first. Well, 1 p.m. our time.
Yeah. With codes,
And
guys,
then
bought codes, and then you can buy the in-game packs on Friday.
On the day
Yeah, on Friday. It's really the day after.
Nice. All right. So good. And with that, we want to say thank you for tuning in to this was episode 3 TCG Talk with Carib Boy. Look forward to the next one. We might have some more tournament news and bacchanal to give you. See how the Lost Zone, the Lost Origin starter eat up the place or not. We go find out. All right. So fellas, thank you again for the time. This is a late one tonight. And this is the specialist, Butcher, TrainerTT, and Carib Boy out.